In this lecture, we will play with challenging getopt command. Create script called getopt.sh and start with shebang. On the beginning, we can print all arguments given to our script. $@ represents all arguments. Now, we store into opts variable output of getopt command, where we will have some short positional parameters, so we need to use -o followed by, let's say, parameter a, which will have optional argument, and if it is optional, we need to provide 2 columns. Parameter b must have some argument, that's why 1 column, and parameter c, d, e won't have any arguments, that's why we don't specify any column after them. Now write --long for long parameters, and there we will have parameter file with optional argument, parameter name with required argument, and parameter help without any argument. At the end of getopt command, we need to specify arguments which are going to be parsed, so space $at. By eval_set command, we are changing initial arguments, and for being sure the change really happened, we can print all arguments after they were parsed with getopt command. So just to recap how getopt works. Getopt command returns parsed arguments. In order to parse them, we need to specify to getopt command what parameters we are taking into account. If we are specifying short parameters, that means parameters starting with dash, for example -a, we need to specify them after -o parameter. So here we have parameter a followed by 2 colons, which means that parameter a can be followed by optional argument. Then we have parameter b with colon, that means with required argument. Then we have parameters c, d, and e, which don't take any arguments. If we in our script want to have long parameters, as for example --file, we need to specify them after --long parameter. Of course, we need to tell to getopt command what arguments we want to parse, and we can do that by using space $at. So now we will do the same we did with our script filecheck.sh. We need to process parsed arguments one by one. So while number of arguments is greater than 0, execute the body inside the while loop. If first argument is a, we can print parameter a selected. So if we choose -a, if -a is first argument, print parameter a selected with argument $2. Now we need to get rid of parameter and argument by 2 shift commands. Or we can just write shift 2, it does the same thing as 2 shift commands. For option B, we will print something similar, so just copy option A and edit it. For option C, we will print option C selected, or parameter C selected, and we will get rid of this parameter by shift command. No need for another shift command as we didn't specify colon after this parameter, so no argument is expected here. Option D and E will be pretty much the same, so just copy option C and edit it. In case long option parameter file was used, we will print parameter file selected with argument $2. $2 represents that argument, that value of that argument. And of course, Shift 2 to get rid of arguments and optional argument. Sorry, I said it wrongly, to get rid of parameters and optional argument. In case no argument was selected, as it is optional, $2 will be an empty string. The same, of course, we can do for name parameter. Shift 2. And we have parameter help. So for parameter help, we can print parameter help selected. And there is no argument. So just only one shift. And for cases something else was selected, we can just pass that option away. Pass that argument. And that's all. We can now save the script. Grant execute permissions. And we can run it. Firstly, try with -cde. And we see that it transforms -cde into -c, -d, and -e. Great. Now we can do some little change. We can add parameter a followed by optional argument without any space. And then optional argument is called optional in my case. And we see that Getopt parsed it to -a and optional arguments, which is great. It works. If we don't specify arguments for parameter a, we see that parameter a was selected with non-existing argument. Now let's say at option B followed by argument called required, because in Getopt command we wrote one colon after parameter b, and at long option file followed by equal sign optional, and add also long option name parameter with argument required. And we see that it was processed well. In case that we didn't specify required argument, it can be, for example, for parameter name, we got error from Getopt command. Option name requires an argument. Now, if we didn't specify optional argument for parameter file, we see that parameter file was selected with no argument. Great. But what happened if we after parameter file put value something? Value something wasn't catched as file parameter needs equal sign when optional argument is given. If we go back to the script, we can change it a little bit. we will edit section for case something else was given as an argument, and we will write what was given, what argument was given. Now run the script again, and we see that we are printing two dashes, which marks the end of arguments parsed by Getopt, and then we see something which is argument which wasn't parsed by Getopt. Getopt part can be really challenging. It has own rules which needs to be followed, but if you play with it more, you will get used to it. Now it's up to you and the situation what method to choose. You can take care of script's arguments yourself, as we did for file check script, or you can use quite easy Getopts, which has a limitation of not processing long parameters, or you can use more advanced Getopt.